Good afternoon and welcome back to DR Sports on what is a truly iconic day in the footballing calendar. It's transfer deadline day. I'm here with Mr. DR himself. How are we?
Unless you're an Arsenal fan, then it's just Monday.
Unless you're an Arsenal fan, then it's just another Monday. Lots to get through. There's so many ins and outs. There's talks.
Unless you're an Arsenal fan.
Unless you're an Arsenal fan.
There's just a lot of outs.
A lot of outs as well. A lot of car registrations that didn't quite work out to be true in the end. But if you're with us today, don't forget we're back here later on. We've got a huge bumper show to see out the transfer window. But
Unless
right now,
unless you're an Arsenal fan,
but he'll still be around. He'll still be around. But remember, the video, comment what you think to what is a crazy final day in the transfer deadline window, and also subscribe if you haven't already. Don, let's waste no time and get straight into this one because we're missing stuff as we're talking here. It's unbelievable. Like I said, everyone is doing business apart from Arsenal, it seems. Let's start off with Everton. Just today, Frank Lampard is their new manager, and we've already seen Donny van der Beek come in yesterday. But we're hearing now that on a permanent deal, Everton are about to take Dele Alli from Tottenham.
Dele Alli, that's surprising to me because if they brought in Donny van der Beek on loan, which I think that's a good bit of business by Everton. Good bit of business. I think he really is a player. He's had a rough time at Manchester United because the reason that is because basically Manchester United didn't need Donny van der Beek. They've already got many other midfielders in that position. They needed more like a deep line sort of defensive midfield player.
A Matic replacement.
So that's why it was so difficult to get him into the team. But he is a quality player at Everton. Especially with no Sigurdsson being around, I feel that's a really good signing. The Dele Alli one surprises me a bit though, because if you've got Van der Beek, do you need Dele Alli?
It's true.
But I guess the Dele Alli one's a permanent deal, so Van der Beek's only a loan move till the end of the season. So, it's not bad, but Dele Alli, a chance for him to resurrect his career in it because he's been terrible for Tottenham the last couple of seasons. Much as I'm not a dislike of Tottenham is there, right? When he sort of first burst on the scene there, when he moved from MK Dons and he was there for the first couple of seasons under Pochettino, he was a quality player. But in recent times, he's been really, really poor. He's really dropped off. He seemed not to be focused. There's been a couple of times he's sort of come back into the team and it looks like he's turned a corner. And then again, he's off. So, yeah, it's a big task for Frank Lampard there. We've got to keep them in the league. I know you don't care as a Liverpool fan whether they stay in it or not.
Do you know what?
But
I have to give you my opinion on Everton today as a Liverpool fan, I guess. And again, let us know in the comments what you think about Everton's dealings thus far in the transfer window. But for them to actually sign Frank Lampard, for me, that's just a wild appointment, which I don't really understand the direction behind it.
Why?
What's his credentials? What are they basing his managerial success on, really, if we're being honest? And I think obviously with the name coming into the club, forget about the credentials, the name Frank Lampard comes into the club, all of a sudden Donny van der Beek, Dele Alli are running to the door to sign. But for me, there just seems like no real strategy here for Everton. It's quite gung-ho and scattergun, if you know what I mean.
Better, but then I would say that more about the Rafa Benitez one.
Well, again,
Rafa
that's a huge
Benitez
example.
Made no sense. You know what I mean? That signing for me, when they brought Rafa Benitez in, that's where you think to yourself, the owners haven't got a clue, right? Because how are you going to bring in a Liverpool legend into Everton? That means that already the pressure on him is you have to succeed, or else. And he didn't. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I think the Lampard one will give the place a bit of a lift. All right, he's not that stellar name, but they've tried that already, haven't they? They had Rafa. They're Carlo Ancelotti. It hasn't worked, has it? So why not try something different? And I don't think it's been a bad signing for them, and I think most Everton fans will be quite happy with that. And I think it's been a good day in the transfer market for them.
Yeah, their fans were protesting against the owners at the start of last week, and now they've been gifted a new manager and two signings, big signings as well, in transfer window. So I don't know if those fans, if you are watching and you're an Everton fan, do let us know. Another signing that's confirmed now is Man City have signed Julian Alvarez from River Plate, 14.2 million. He goes back to Argentina on loan for the remainder of the season. Is this the Sergio replacement?
Well, they rate this guy really highly. I mean, there's a
5 caps for Argentina, 21.
Yeah. There's a lot of talk about him that he's going to be the next big thing, the next Aguero they're calling him. So Manchester City, look how they do business in comparison to a lot of other clubs, like say Arsenal, right? They just there's one signing. They do all of their smart business in the summer. And really and truly, when you look at it, the teams that do lots of business in January, that means something's gone wrong.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to do a lot of business in January. You should have everything set in the summer. And that's what Man City do all the time. And look, they've signed this guy and he's not even coming into the team. They're saying, stay at your club, play well, and you'll be here in the summer. And as I said, for the price that they've got him for as well.
14.2 million.
Yeah, that's nothing.
Great price.
That's nothing. And I mean, so that's a great, looks like that's a great signing, and it'd be interesting to see what he brings to the Man City team.
Yeah, other big names flying around all over your news outlets today. A former Arsenal, was he a captain at one point, Aaron Ramsey? Maybe
no.
step in
A
a couple of
times
games.
Put the armband on.
Aaron Ramsey apparently being courted by Rangers.
Signed for Rangers.
Signed
that's
for Rangers.
Confirmed. He's signed for
Rangers.
As far as I've known, he's signed for Rangers.
On loan with an option to buy.
Yeah.
I mean, we were speaking about this just before we went on air. Is it a little bit of a downgrade, with all due respect to Rangers, to leave Juventus
Rangers fans
to go to the Scottish Premier League?
Listen, he was at Juventus. He wasn't really getting any game time. Juventus wanted
Big deal
him
as well. He was
went there on huge wages when he left for it, because he left Arsenal on a free transfer. Was reportedly on about £400,000 a week at Juventus. Juventus do this a lot because what it is, they don't pay a big transfer fee, but they get players who are like on free transfers and pay them a lot of wages. But in reality, they're still saving money because they haven't had to pay that big transfer fee. It didn't work for him at Rangers. At Juventus. Lots of injuries, lots of quality players there. It's a very hard team to start every week. It hasn't worked out for him, and I think this is a brilliant move for Rangers. You know, them and Celtic as usual, battling it out at the top of the league up there in Scotland. They got that big game, of course, on Wednesday night. They're only separated, I think, by about a point. Bringing in somebody like Aaron Ramsey could make the difference. So I think it's a huge signing for Rangers, and good signing for Aaron Ramsey as well. He obviously wants to get himself in shape. You know, he's got the qualifiers for the Euros and all that coming up, for the World Cup and that coming up as well for Wales. So I think that's a very good move for Rangers.
Sticking with Arsenal, club captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has arrived in Barcelona to a small fanfare at the airport. He was flying over there, but really without Arsenal's permission. They've come
I know
out
it's
and
a bit of a, remember Aubameyang all them years ago?
Aubameyang, this is like exactly like the same.
It's
same
another
as that.
Aubameyang, but I mean, it's a strange one because they're saying he's having a medical though, so it's not exactly the Aubameyang where they didn't even realise that he was coming. There has been speculation saying that Barcelona didn't know he was coming. I can't believe that, because the talk is he's had a medical, but the deal's not done yet.
Yeah.
Because the sticking point on that deal is that Barcelona need to get rid of Ousmane Dembele. And what we're reading is Dembele doesn't want to go. There was talk that he could come the other way and go to Arsenal, but he's already discounted that. Him and his representatives said they don't want to go to Arsenal. Basically, Barcelona want him gone. They want him off the wage bill. But at the moment, he's just sitting it out and saying, well, listen, I'm contracted till the end of the season. Unless you find me somewhere to go where I really want to go, I'm not going anywhere. So it's going to be touch and go to see if this Aubameyang deal gets done. It'd be very embarrassing for Aubameyang if he's out there, does medicals and stuff like that, and the deal doesn't get done. I think it's such a mess, this whole thing. It's a mess for Arsenal as well, you know, because Aubameyang's over there on the verge of signing for Barcelona. There's no replacement yet. There's
Apparently,
no replacement.
Though, we are hearing that the talks have broken down over salaries. And that's just in from David Ornstein. That's breaking news.
It wouldn't surprise me, because let's remember, he's on over £300,000 a week at Arsenal. Rumoured, with add-ons and that too, and bonuses, which you obviously ain't getting at the moment, will take it up to that sort of figure. But he hasn't played for Arsenal since December the 6th. He fell out with the manager. I don't know what's gone on there. And they want to get him out. he wants to go to Barcelona. Obviously, the fact that he's gone over there, but who are going to pay?
Maybe he's there for a holiday. You never know.
It don't look like it. Who's going to pay those wages?
Well, this is the thing.
Who's going to pay those
it looks
mega
like it's
wages?
Off. It does look like it's off. Barcelona and Arsenal talks for Aubameyang loan have broken down over the salary. The 32-year-old returning to London from what's said to have been a family trip to the Spanish city. So that's, I mean, I was joking then, but that's how he's actually playing it off.
It looks a bit like Odin Wingy.
Find major money, it's off. So not totally dead in the water, this one. Maybe a small chance that it could still happen.
They've got to, Barcelona have got to get rid of, I feel, of Ousmane Dembele, right, to get the wages freed up. They want him. He wants to go there. Arsenal want to get rid of Aubameyang, get him off the wage bill. But, you know, even if they pay half of that wage, that's still £175,000 a week. That's a lot of money, you know what I mean? So it's a whole, it's such a mess. And then you look at Arsenal, we've got no strikers really at the moment. We've got, it's a crazy situation. We've got Alexander Lacazette, who's out of contract at the end of the season. We've got Eddie Nketiah, who's also out of contract at the end of the season, and teams are trying to buy him. And then we've got Aubameyang. It's an absolute mess, and it doesn't look like there's an incoming striker at Arsenal. So I don't know, man.
Big up to Flex. We can see him on our television screens right now, enjoying transfer deadline day. I mean, let's talk about Liverpool briefly. The Luis Diaz deal was yesterday, and we're all super excited to see how he settles in at Liverpool. But they are still pushing for the Fulham forward Fabio Carvalho. Now, initially there was a £5 million bid made yesterday. The understanding was the only way this could happen was that we pay the money and then they send him back to Fulham on loan for the rest of the season. It's kind of stalled a bit, though.
He's been a very, very important player for Fulham and a very, very talented player as well.
Yeah.
And I think Liverpool are trying a bit of a fast one here. They're trying to get him on the cheap, aren't they? I mean, he's going to be worth more than that. Sure.
Well, he's entered the final 6 months of his deal at Fulham, and they would be entitled to a compensation set by a tribunal. Liverpool don't want to take it to a tribunal. We'd rather kind of tie up the deal today, but it's kind of hot this morning. It's cooled down a little bit, so obviously later on we might have some more news on that. 5 million, it seems like a bit of a steal. More signings that are coming in, especially in the Premier League. If we look at the list here,
do you know what I want to know? Where's Lingard going? That's the one that's really interesting for me at the moment. You've got two clubs seem to be battling out for him, right? Which is Newcastle and West Ham. I can't see Man United giving him to West Ham. Because let's be real, exactly, they're a rival for the top four. So are they going to give Lingard, who was brilliant at West Ham last time? So for me, the only place he could go to really is Newcastle. But we were hearing about these ridiculous, stipulations that Man United were trying to, big loan fee and stuff like that. I mean, Newcastle have got a load of money, but they're no mugs. So, but apparently Lingard has said to Manchester United, he sat down with them today and said he wants to leave. So let's see what happens. That's going to be an interesting one to see if by the end of deadline day he has left.
Who will be talking about Lingard on their channels? Will it be Matty Renton or will it be West Ham Fan TV with Nicky? Yeah. Who knows? More breaking news that's just come into us. Tottenham midfielder Tanguy Ndombele has signed now on loan for Lyon. He's left Tottenham. A lot of exits here for Tottenham. They've obviously brought Bentancur in, the Uruguayan striker. But this signing, I mean, I think I'm right in saying he's still Tottenham's highest ever.
Yeah, Tottenham are cursed, man.
Every time
Tottenham buy a top player, I'll tell you, when they bought Ndombele, I was like, ooh, that's a good signing, man. I'm a bit worried about that one. He's quality. Again, it's not worked out for him at all. There was talk that he could go to PSG. But that didn't work out, and now he's gone back to Lyon. That's where he started, isn't it? So, again, a big money. It just goes to show you, innit? January transfer window. We're all after these big mega deals. Sometimes the big mega deals don't work out.
Well, West Ham
Ndombele back.
Yeah, Ndombele back in France. Let us know what you guys think about his stint at Tottenham.
Danny Fitness says Ndombele was decent under Jose. But if I remember rightly, Jose was always having a go at him and saying that he's too lazy and things like that. So it's just not worked out for him. You get some players, the pace of the Premier League is just too much for them. And I think that was the case with him.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. Another West Ham rumour is the Benfica striker Darwin Núñez coming. They've rejected the last bid that West Ham put in for the striker. He is Uruguayan. Looks like a really good player. 20 goals in 25 appearances this season for Benfica. A lot of people were saying maybe he's the second best in the league after Luis Diaz, who we got yesterday, which is great. But yeah, 45
all of a
million.
Sudden, Luis Diaz is the best player in the league.
In Portuguese league. Well, not anymore, but
in the Portuguese league.
I think he was, in all due respect.
Yeah.
But Robbie, they've bid, this isn't a light bid, 37.5 million. They've bid for Núñez.
Yeah, I think
is a rising prospect.
Strikers are the most expensive position, and you know what I mean. And with that goal scoring record, you can see why they're going to have to come in. They probably want more money than that Benfica because top quality strikers now. I mean, Alexander Isak, who Arsenal have been looking at, has got a release clause of 75 million euros. There's guys like Jonathan David at Lille. They want £50 million for him. Patrick Schick at Leverkusen, 45-50 million. So, this is what I think about it. And, like even going back to your club in Liverpool, right? And they don't want to give Salah, seemingly don't want to give Salah the extra money he wants. I mean, that just goes to show when you see a player like a Darwin Núñez going for that sort of money, how much is Salah worth? That's why I give him the money,
And if you are watching FSG, just make sure you get that signed, sealed, and delivered nice and.
Before you do that, there's a couple of super chats here. Yasavi says, should we say Conte's Spurs have more ambition than Arsenal? Not only have they cleared out their players they don't need, but they did get decent replacements. We're in such a mess. I think Tottenham have had a bit of an up and down window as well. They're looking to bring in Bentancur and Kozlowski. Not bad signings, but they weren't really their first initial targets, were they? They were also maybe interested in Vlahovic. They were interested in several players that have turned them down, including Diaz, who, of course, they wanted and ended up going to Liverpool. So it's not an easy window in January, but they have signed. Arsenal have not signed anybody yet. And Rafi says, what about Pepe? Everything Arsenal buys is cursed. That's true. Pepe has not worked out either. A big money signing.
72 million.
70-odd million pound, Tony Fernandez says, why Isak? Because he's tall potential, yet unproven. In the summer, go all out for Erling Haaland's 75 million release clause. Wants 20 million a season. That's 286,584 pounds and 9 pence.
Very precise.
Per week. Odegaard is Norway's captain. Dusan, why not? Aubameyang to keep. It's all right saying that, going for Haaland, but he's got to want to come.
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be the big. I think this summer that's going to be the big one in it. Haaland, Mbappe. Looks like Mbappe is going to Real Madrid.
Yeah.
The talk is that it's all been agreed already, but they're just not announcing it yet because. Of course, the two teams are playing each other in the
Champions League very
Champions
soon.
League, yeah.
We'll have to see what Parisian London
thinks
about that.
Ranuk says Aubameyang is off. So there's a lot of people saying that deal is off for Aubameyang. Dele Alli, Tucson says Dele Alli is going to Everton, confirmed, or we did confirm that.
That is true. Now let's cast our minds back to the Euros in the summer. You and I watched Denmark play, and we've seen what happened. So sad.
Christian Eriksen.
To Christian Eriksen.
Remember doing a stream.
It's turned round. Who would have thought at that time that we'd be saying that Christian Eriksen is back in the Premier League, signs a 6-month deal with Brentford? What do you think of that?
Incredible story, man. And even though he used to play for Tottenham, and I should dislike him, I can't dislike him because listen, it's football dislike. It's not a dislike of the guy in person. But you know what? I'm so happy for him. Like you said, we were all here on that stream and we thought we were witnessing somebody passing away in front of our eyes. And not only did they manage to bring him back, now the guy's back in football. It's an absolutely incredible story, and I really hope he does well at Brentford. And if he does do well, and if there are no complications, and all the indications they're saying is that he would have done his medical and everything. He's absolutely fine. Wow, what a story it could be. He really wants to he said he really wants to prove himself so that he can get back into that Denmark team for the World Cup in November. Imagine him running out for Denmark. I mean, that will be an amazing story. You know what I mean? So, wishing him all the best.
For sure.
You know, just shows you the drive and determination he's got to want to come back and play football. Of course, he's going to be playing with like a pacemaker. But these things are really advanced now. And yeah, it's an amazing story, man. Good luck to Christian Eriksen. And that's a great signing.
Yeah, great story as well. Eriksen landing there in West London at Brentford. Deals are still going on. I mean, Burnley have dipped into the market.
Burnley have got a striker. Even us ain't got a striker yet. Burnley have got one. Sorry.
I know, he's very frustrated, you can tell. He's not happy because Arsenal are just letting players go and not bringing anyone in.
That striker they got is an interesting guy. That
Wout Weghorst. Very interesting guy.
Weghorst, shouldn't it be?
Weghorst. We'll go with, to be fair, you're
W's
teaching
a
me.
V.
Yeah, no, go
W's
on.
a V
I normally teach you about the names and stuff like that. But nice
But
one.
you know what? He's 6'6".
6'6", this guy.
6'6". He's a unit.
Proper
He
unit.
He looks like he suits a Burnley down to the ground.
Yeah.
Can you imagine how many crosses they're going to be putting in for him? Maxwell Cornet on one wing, right?
Aaron Lennon on the other wing.
Aaron Lennon on the other wing, right? They're going to be whipping them balls in for this guy. But he's got a great goal-scoring record, hasn't he?
Yeah, well, we said before, he's actually the second highest scorer in the Bundesliga since 2018, apart from, obviously, Lewandowski. Comes from Wolfsburg for 12 million. Were you in? Were you
AZ Alkmaar before that, I think.
He was. Were you a bit surprised that maybe no one else came in from him? With all due respect,
I was.
to
You know what?
Burnley?
I've been hearing about him for a couple of seasons, and you know, for 12 million, it's a good bit of business for Burnley.
It's not too bad.
Obviously, Burnley, you know, they're struggling at the moment. They've got to try and stay in the division. They had to sell Chris Wood to Newcastle because Newcastle met that release clause. But this guy, just looking at his profile, looks like the perfect replacement. And, you know, you don't have to be super quick up front playing for Burnley because we know what Burnley are going to do. Looks like he's going to be a guy who's going to be able to hold the ball well up and bring all the other guys into play. And
definitely,
he's going to suit Burnley perfect. And what Sean Dyche does, and that looks like a very good signing. If you're a Burnley fan, you know, I think they'll be pretty pleased about that one.
Yeah, and they've only spent half of the money there that they for Chris Wood.
Rishikesh, by the way, says Arsenal plan to move Espanyol striker De Thomas. Well, I can tell you that was turned down already. So Espanyol have said they're not selling De Thomas.
Well, still no signings for Arsenal. Let's move on then to Dele Alli to Everton. We're hearing now from our good friend of the DR Sports channel, Fabrizio Romano, is saying, done deal, here we go. Everton have signed Dele Alli, the medical, or subject to a medical in the next few hours. It's done though. Frank Lampard wanted Dele after Van der Beek official announcement later today. Unbelievable, really, when you consider how the trajectory of Dele Alli's career was going from kind of 2016
England regular,
2018, second top scorer at the 2018 World Cup for us, I think, as an England player. Can't even get near that team now. So
could resurrect his career. I mean, he's going to be playing under Frank Lampard. I think he's still a good player, right? But you can see there's a player that's lost focus.
Yeah, without doubt.
And that's what's going to be Lampard. Lampard needs to get him back on. If he can get him back on, he's still young, isn't he?
I think he's 25.
Yeah, so
24, 25.
Going to be interesting to see that move. Going to be interesting because the player's good, but what's his mindset like? Is he focused? You know what I mean? That's, you know.
Yeah, is he focused enough? I feel like with Dele Alli, you get 2 or 3 good games out of him, then he goes quiet again. So it's that consistency and that focus with him that I think Lampard could potentially bring out. Any more comments there?
There's a lot of Arsenal ones in here. A lot of others were JS says a fire sale at Tottenham. Dele Alli fell off, says Chris George. Car boot sale, someone says. Dybala, who's said to be available. Hamza K is saying that Dybala would suit Man City. And Dabs Ryan says, what about Dybala to City?
I think it's Dybala, you know.
Or Dybala, Dybala. But I don't think that's going to happen, especially now they signed this guy, Alvarez.
Yeah.
I I really can't see that happening. Aaron says Arsenal are planning a last-minute move, and he's trying to be funny here, for faking no one. In other words, effing no one. He's decent, but it's not what we need. And he goes, FFS. I mean, all the banter's coming in. Arsenal at the moment looking to be the biggest losers in the transfer market. Number one in that they're losing, their best player in Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Well, let's be real, he's not performed now for a season and a half. He has been poor, but he's still the biggest earner at the club. And as of the moment, it doesn't look like anybody's coming in. And that's the worrying thing for Arsenal. But there's still,
7 hours.
Over 7 hours to go until the transfer window shuts. Can Arsenal pull something off before the window closes?
Can they pull rabbit out the hat? They need a striker. They've been rejected. I mean, it's not
need a midfielder as well.
A North London team's been rejected in this window. Can I just say as well, Adama Traore passes a medical at Tottenham and then goes to Barcelona. It's probably their only club.
Yeah, that's what I said. I don't think, Tottenham, even though, yes, they're a couple of incomings, they're not really the ones they wanted. Adama Traore right from the start of the window was their number one target, and they lost out again to Barcelona. Where Barcelona get all this money from?
Well, they were telling us they had no money. They were skint. They needed to delay payments. All of a sudden,
they've done some restructuring and that, and they've been able to get some money in. So, Jimmy J NYC says, as a Colombian and an Arsenal supporter, I'm happy Luis didn't go and waste his career at Spurs. Great signing for Alex. Robbie, who do you think we will get? And he's on about, obviously, the signing for Liverpool, Luis there, who is Colombian, a very good player.
Yes.
Who are Arsenal going to get? Honestly, normally, I do transfer shows every single day, and normally I kind of have an inkling. Sometimes I might have got a phone call off of someone, an agent or somebody who gives me a hint. I have to say, I haven't heard nothing. I've just got no clue right now. Who, people are saying Isak from Real Sociedad, but
it's a lot of money to pay that release clause.
Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see it, and I just don't know who. But I really can't see Arsenal. How could they possibly do this window and not bring anybody in? Yeah. I think they've got to surely sign someone. Surely they're going to pull something out of the bag. And then there's the whole Aubameyang thing now. If he doesn't go to Barcelona, does that complicate things as well? Because, although Arsenal have got rid of a lot of players off of their wage bill. Some more super chats here, a lot of them to do with Arsenal. Aaron says, Aubameyang's move to Barcelona is called off, Robbie. If I see one of those ITK brothers post, he'll be in line. He will be like a new signing. I swear, I'm drawing for the big thing.
Was that Turkish?
Now listen, no violence, yeah? No violence out there, right? This is transfer stuff, right? Cortex Gamer says, no striker, because Arteta thinks he's Pep Guardiola. Be yourself, Arteta out. So there's a lot of Arsenal fans in the chat not happy at Arsenal's lack of business. And 380W says Ali's fees based on his appearances. Do you see anything on his fee? How much they're paying for him?
For who? Oh, Dele Alli.
Yeah.
I'm not too sure about that. Do let us know if that's definitely something that is in the contract. We've just seen though here that the full agreement is reached with Tottenham. That's what Fabrizio has said, and the permanent move is subject to a medical in the next few hours. But it seems like it's done. The financials seem like it's done.
Interesting to know how much it is.
Exactly. You never know what clauses are in these contracts. There's some silly ones, isn't there, that players have had down the years.
Yeah. What would you say, Alex, so far has been the best bit of business by an English club in the transfer window?
Do you want me to be biased or not?
Yeah, here we go. Yeah. Be biased if you have to.
I mean, listen, time will tell. I can sit here and say that I personally think Luis Diaz is our most exciting addition to the squad since we brought in Thiago, which was a good 18 months to 2 years ago now. Like I said, time will tell. Who knows? He could flop. He could hit the ground running. I think the money that we've paid for him with the 45 million euros up front with 15 in add-ons is greatly appreciated by Porto, because they had to pay a UEFA fine of 7 million. We've basically paid that off for them and sorted it out. But I am going to go with Luis Diaz. The sentimental person in me, though, likes the story of Jermaine Defoe now talking to Sunderland to go back there as a 39-year-old. Obviously not at Rangers anymore. He's a free agent, so there's no deadline today for him as a free agent. But we are hearing that the move to Everton for Dele Alli with Tottenham has now been agreed. This is Matt Law from the Daily Telegraph. It's so it's set
Everton
to be an
paying
initial
10 million.
free transfer with Everton
Once he's
paying
played
10
20
mil.
games.
Once he's played 20 games, 2.5-year deal. So not really a bumper deal. This is interesting though. So he only has to play 20 games and they get £10 million. Have you ever seen a deal like that before?
No. Shows how much he's fallen off in it. That he's only £10 million.
I mean,
Kieran Brown says, hello from Scotland. Will you be doing a watch along to the Celtic Rangers game on Wednesday? It's going to be a huge game. Unfortunately, we're not, because we're doing the African Cup of Nations semi-final. We did think about doing it, but we just can't squeeze it in. But that's going to be an incredible game. But we are lining up some other Old Firm games, so look out for that. Young says, where's headphones at? I need his deleted positivity right now. I can hear you on that. I can do it myself. Best signing. So you're saying Diaz is the best signing. I don't know, because Diaz is not going to walk straight into the team, innit?
No, he's not going to start every single game.
I think
it definitely gives Mane a good kick up the backside.
I'll tell you what. Talking of Scotland, Old Firm, I think Aaron Ramsey going to Rangers is a great bit of business.
Who saw that one coming though?
That's a great bit of business for Rangers. So that, for me, if I was a Rangers fan, I'd be really excited about that. I think Guimaraes going to Bruno Guimaraes going to Newcastle. I think that's a very good deal. I think long term that could be a great signing. Maybe he's not the guy for your relegation fight right now, but he's a player of real quality, and I think and even when I go back and look at the window, the loan move for Philip Coutinho
seems like an eternity
by
ago.
Villa. Yeah, but I think that was a great bit of business, because look at the lift it's given Villa. As a loan deal,
Luca Dean as well in the
Luca Dean as well. Yeah,
Matty
Villa.
Target
They've done
going
some.
to Newcastle today.
They've done some good business. Yeah. They've done some good business. But there's not been loads of spectacular. I think Van der Beek going to Everton as well is a good bit of business today for Everton. I really do think that's good. But it's not been a spectacular window, has it?
I think today it has thrown a few shocks and surprises though. And obviously we are
Showing
7
Aubameyang
hours
there.
bang on the way.
Showing Aubameyang there arriving in Spain.
And then quickly showing him leaving again.
If he did go out there on a family holiday, I mean, it's too much of a coincidence, isn't it?
I was joking when I said that, Robbie, and that's the line he's actually used.
Oh,
unbelievable.
my God.
Yeah, Rangers still leading that race to sign out Ramsey from Juventus. The window now has 6 hours and 59 minutes until it closes. We'll of course be back at 8, won't we? Until 11, just after 11 to cover that for you.
A couple other super chats. Sanjeet Mahanti says Mbappe agreed with Real Madrid and will come for free in the summer. I've been hearing that as well. Andrew C says Robbie turns up late to Spurs game but arrives in Barcelona ahead of time. Gives a Peter Obinwingi vibes. Any update on Aubameyang? Heard it's fallen through. Well, that's what we're all hearing, that apparently it might have fallen through due to the wages. But there's still time for that to get done. Josh D says, is Chelsea not signing anyone in this transfer window? Less of a flop than Arsenal. The players Arsenal bought in the summer performing unlike Romelu, but I don't think Chelsea really need to sign anybody.
Yeah.
And we're doing a poll at the moment. The best signing so far this transfer window, and we've got 4. Luis Diaz, who's gone to Liverpool, of course, from Porto. Bruno Guimaraes, who's gone to Newcastle from Lyon. Philippe Coutinho, who's gone to Aston Villa, of course, from Barcelona. And Donny van de Beek, who's a loan move from Manchester United to Everton. Which one of those is the best signing so far? I'm going Guimaraes. At the moment, 40% say Luis Diaz.
So 40% in agreement with me then.
27% Grimarish, 25% Coutinho, 7% say Van der Beek.
Be interesting to do that poll at the end of the season again and look back to see who really was the January January transfer window best signing.
Vort Vegas is the best signing, he says.
Could be interesting that. I think when you come to the Premier League with goals on your CV from Bundesliga, it's no mean feat. I mean, a lot of players have struggled coming from Bundesliga over to the Premier League, but if you're 6'6" and you look like he does, the one team you probably want to move to is
Burnley, mate. Burnley, mate. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing them up front for Burnley. Them whipping them balls in there. Trust me, I'm looking forward to seeing.
Gonna have a field day. Within the box.
You know what I like about Burnley, right? They know what they want to do. They know their style of play. They're not compromising for no one.
They don't hide it.
Yeah, we're getting in a 6'6" big guy, and what?
Yeah, said it with chest.
Abin Manu says, Robbie, if this doesn't give Arsenal fans a reason to have a protest, then we should stop supporting the club. Means we support the way the club is being run. As I told you, a lot of unhappy
Arsenal fans in the chat.
Yeah, they're not.
But yeah, let us know.
Eriksen to Brentford says his best signing. Says Derek. That's his best signing. There was someone saying breaking news: Morata going to Arsenal, but Morata's already come out and said he's not leaving Juventus.
Which was interesting because a couple of days ago it looking like he was going to go to Barcelona as well.
Yeah, I always knew that wouldn't happen because the complicated situation about Morata is that he's actually still an Atletico Madrid player. Yeah, there is no way they're going to let him go to Barcelona on loan and help them out. So I always knew that wasn't going to happen. Ashley Barnes to Arsenal says more fun. Get lost, right?
Do you know what? If it happened, it wouldn't surprise me.
Oh, man, we're getting all the banter. Alvarez to Man City says Waleed. That's his best signing. That looks a good signing.
It looks to be Man City dipping into the market to buy a striker.
Again, the way they roll, they spent a lot of money on this, haven't they?
No, 14.2 million.
Yeah.
And they've obviously done their homework on him. They've cherry-picked him out from that league. I think there is a small update on Arsenal right now on the TV. I don't think it's full of much news.
The Aubameyang.
In terms of players coming in, but Aubameyang, it looks to us like that deal is 90% off. They did say
it's faltering.
Unless there was some kind of major change, then that would be off. But yeah, Julian Alvarez from River Plate to Man City, 14.2 million. Again, could be a great signing for City. Haven't really bought a striker for a while. They've just sold Ferran Torres to Barcelona as well. But listen, there's still 6 hours, 55 minutes to go, Robbie. Anything could happen.
Yeah, Bumpy Johnson says, Robbie, you sound down, bro. I am.
Because of Arsenal, basically.
Yeah, listen, I am down because...
What did you want? Let's ask it like this. What did you expect/want when the January transfer window opened for Arsenal?
The January transfer window opened for Arsenal. I was in admiration of the board because they were trying to go for Dusan Vlahovic. And it was a serious deal and they put the money up and I was like, you know what, they're showing a lot of ambition there. But that fell through and I was so disappointed that they didn't appear to have a plan B. We also needed a midfield player, and that was at the start of the window, and we didn't get that player. And again, I think that's where we really went wrong. But for me, it was just a midfield player and a striker is what we needed this window, because Arsenal got a great chance of trying to get into the top four. And I just feel that if it's going to be interesting to see if Aubameyang doesn't go, what are they going to do with him? Are they just going to have him sitting around for, the next 3-4 months doing nothing?
Who knows? Or he could come back and be a new signing, or like a new signing for Arsenal.
Shut up.
Yet to be seen. Right, guys, we are going to be back with you at 8 o'clock. It's going to be myself. It's going to be Matty Renton. I'm sure you'll be there as well.
Yeah, I'll be here. It'll be really interesting to hear Matty. Newcastle have done so much business this transfer window, so it's going to be interesting to get a Newcastle fans' point of view. Are those signings going to be enough for Newcastle to keep them in the division? that's what's going to be very interesting to hear from Matty. Fuad's coming as well, I think.
Fuad's coming.
Fuad's coming as well, so he'll be able to give the lowdown on what he's made of it for Tottenham. It should be good.
Love to see it. Right, we're going to wrap it up there. This has been your afternoon transfer update on what has been an incredible day on deadline day, as it
Unless
always
you're an
is.
Arsenal fan.
Unless you're an Arsenal fan. That's what we keep having to say. We should put a little disclaimer in all the titles. But listen, great to talk to you about the transfers that have come in and out so far. 6 hours, 51 minutes to go. We'll be back in about 4 hours to wrap up the day with you from about 8 to just after 11 here on DR Sports. If you've liked the video, give us a like. Make sure you're commenting as well with what you think is the best deal in the window so far. And if you haven't subscribed yet, what are you playing at? Subscribe. So much great content to come on DR Sports. We're back again at the weekend with the Saturday football show too.
Yeah. Let me just quickly...
one more super chat.
Chicken Drumstick says, I think we'll sign a striker if Aubameyang goes on loan to Barca, but it don't look like he's going anywhere.
Doesn't look like it. Right.
This could be the biggest news of the day if something does happen, but we'll keep you up to date with it here.
Of course we will. See you soon. Take care.